Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Jeff Tucker, and I am a writer for Boys Town Press. Um, just to give you a little background about me, my doctorate is in counselor education and supervision. So I train clinical mental health and school counselors. And in the past, I was a school counselor myself. And I'm here today to read aloud one of my favorite books that I've ever written to you all called Isaac the Instigator. So this book is a tale from the swamp. My background, or I was born and raised in Louisiana, so I'm familiar with swamps. Um, but when I was working as a school counselor, a common problem we saw was that children would get into arguments and fights, and those children would be the ones who get into trouble, not knowing that there was like a mastermind pulling the strings behind the background that was instigating a lot of these conflicts. So I wanted to write a book that really addressed this whole problem of instigating. And out of that came this book right here, Isaac the Instigator, which is, if you had the book, it says to Gary. That is actually my father's name because he's the one who took me to see all these animals out in the wild once upon a time. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading. All right. So Isaac the Instigator. He looks all sneaky. So deep in the swamp, there was once an old alligator who lived alone in a muddy hole. His name was Isaac. Poor old Isaac kept to himself because he believed none of the other swamp animals would ever want to talk to an alligator. The only thing Isaac talked to was an old stump near his mud home. Even though Isaac rarely spoke to the other animals, he did do a lot of listening. Isaac liked to hide in the background and listen in on the conversations of the other animals. At first, he pretended they were really speaking to him and they were his friends. As time passed, however, Isaac grew jealous of the animals because they had real friendships. He was all alone and angry. Isaac had been listening to his swamp neighbors for so long, he developed a special talent. He discovered his talent by accident while speaking to his only pal, the stump. Isaac realized he could make his voice sound exactly like the voice of each and every animal living in the swamp. His voice imitations were perfect. Isaac used this talent to become quite the troublemaker. Isaac used this talent to become quite the troublemaker. He imitated the voices of his neighbors, tricking them and getting them to fight among themselves. While they fought, Isaac stayed hidden in hollow logs or behind tall grasses and gleefully watched the mischief he set in motion. When all the shouting was done, he'd sneak back home, roll onto his spiky back, and laugh. Isaac ruined many friendships, and he didn't care. If I can't have friends, why should anyone else? He told the stump. Resting in the mud one afternoon, Isaac heard Horace and Portia rooting around in the grass. Isaac quietly camouflaged himself and then snuck closer to the two friends. When the pigs lowered their heads, Isaac opened his mouth. In a voice that every swamp creature would have sworn belonged to Horace, Isaac said, Portia, you couldn't find your own acorns if they were sitting atop your snout. That's rude, snorted Portia. Horace swore he never uttered a word. That wasn't me. I heard you say it, Portia squealed. When the pigs lowered their heads again, Isaac opened his big mouth. This time, he sounded exactly like Portia. Horace, the only thing you're good for is barbecue. Portia, how dare you say something that mean and cruel to me? I didn't. Isaac continued playing this trick until the two swine stomped away from each other. Their angry breakup left Isaac grinning, big and toothy. Isaac had stirred up trouble in every friend group except one. Best friends Brutus and Delphine. The two black bears did everything together. They even shared the same den. Their friendship was the closest of any, so of course it made Isaac especially jealous. I'll get them tomorrow, Isaac said to the stump. Then everybody will be alone, just like me. When morning came, Isaac headed straight to the bear's den. He hid behind a nearby bush, excited to ruin another friendship. This time, however, the joke was on Isaac. It sure is a beautiful morning, said Brutus as he stepped out of his house, but I think I smell rain coming. Before Delphine could answer, Isaac opened his mouth. In Delphine's voice, he said, All I smell is our den. You keep it so dirty, the flies won't even enter. Then the real Delphine gasped, That wasn't me. Who said that? Of course it wasn't you, said Brutus. You would never say anything so mean. Someone is playing a trick on us. Brutus stuck his nose up in the air. There's more than rain coming, Delphine. I smell a gator around here. Isaac panicked. They're going to catch me, he thought. He tried to quietly creep away, but the snap of a branch betrayed him. He looked up, and 4 brown eyes were glaring down at him. What kind of game are you playing? Delphine demanded to know. Just joking around. You're no alligator, said Brutus. You're an instigator. I am not, Isaac shouted, even though he had no clue what the word meant. You are, said Delphine. Instigators like to start fights between people because they like to create drama. Are you the reason no one gets along in our swamp anymore? Yeah, so what? Shouted Isaac. Maybe I am an instigator. Why shouldn't I be? If I don't have friends, why should anybody else? You don't have friends? Asked Brutus. No, and I don't want any. That was a lie. How sad, said Delphine. I don't even know what I would do without Brutus. Everyone deserves a friend, even an alligator like you. Isaac turned and stormed off. As he stomped through the grass, Delphine called out to him. If you ever want to make real friends, you know where to find us. You'll always be alone as an instigator. Nobody deserves to be alone. Isaac let out a loud grunt. When he got home, he plopped down in the mud. I'm so mad, Isaac told the stump. I almost had those bears. Instigator! As Isaac wallowed in the mud, his anger slowly faded into something else. Loneliness. He thought of Brutus and Delphine's friendship. It was so strong, even his special talent couldn't destroy it. Then he thought about what Delphine had said. Was she being genuine? Was it possible to have a real friend? The next morning, Isaac walked back to the den. Brutus and Delphine were outside, staring at the clouds. What do you want? Asked Brutus. You said to come back if I ever wanted real friends. Well, I'm back, and I'm sorry. You mean it? Asked Delphine. I don't want to be an instigator anymore, confessed Isaac. Instigators just start trouble. They leave everyone lonely. I know that feeling. I want to be a regular alligator. Brutus looked at Isaac and said they could only become friends if he apologized to all of the animals for all the fights he started among them. So that's what Isaac did. He walked the whole swamp and admitted to all his tricks. Many friendships were saved that day. Even Isaac made new friends. Isaac never instigated another fight and never again tricked others using his special talent. He realized being honest and using his own true voice made life much less lonely. Plus, whenever he wanted to be alone, he could still talk to the stump. All right, everybody. So that was Isaac the Instigator. I hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely a fun one to read aloud to children. So for attending today, I thought it would be really cool to share an activity with you all, which you can find, linked down in the comments. And the activity is for students to create their own drama-free swamp friend badge. So essentially, they can wear this badge as a badge of honor that they're not going to start drama and instigate conflicts and fights among their friends. And that, like Isaac, they can just be a regular old alligator, not an instigator. Thanks, everybody. Bye.